Hello, BookTube. I've been thinking about my manga collection for the last few weeks. So I got back into manga in a big way in 2020 and decided to start actively collecting manga again in 2021. I had a very small manga collection back in the early 2010s that didn't last very long and didn't really have all that many volumes. But since 2021, when I first started, or when I started to actively collect manga again, I've amassed a pretty good sized collection. And when I decided I wanted to get back into manga, I decided that I wanted to focus on 7 series at a time to actively collect. I mean, I would still pick up, and I still do pick up the odd first volume or first few volumes of a series to see if I want to follow up with them in a more concentrated way later on once one of these 7 are either finished or caught up. And that's worked for a while. I've largely gone through, I think, about 2 iterations of the 7, or, well, not really, because it's not like I've focused on 7, finished them up, and then moved on to 7 new ones. It's more I sort of replace them as I finish or get caught up. But I've managed to get quite a few now. So I started off with Fairy Tail and Eden Zero and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle and Full Metal Alchemist and Taliban Hanako-kun, The Seven Deadly Sins, and Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. And of those 7, I've either finished or completed 5 of them. Tsubasa, Full Metal, and Fairy Tail for completed, and I've caught up with Eden Zero and Taliban Hanako-kun, and I pretty much have them pre-ordered whenever new or forthcoming volumes are available for pre-order. More so Taliban Hanako-kun, which, since it's a monthly series, its release is a bit scattershot. And then I subsequently added Naruto, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and Death Note, alongside The Seven Deadly Sins and Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. And of those, I've either completed or caught up with 3 of them. I bought the whole 1-and-done edition of Death Note, and then I've caught up with Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia. So now I've got 3 series that I'm kind of like looking to add to the 7, and I'm almost finished with The Seven Deadly Sins and Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. I have 10 volumes of The Seven Deadly Sins left and 3 volumes of Magi left, which is going to be a pain in the rear end because I'm fairly confident that series is out of print, and trying to find physical copies of those final 3 volumes, 21, 26, and 27, probably will be rather annoying, particularly ones that are not psychotically overpriced, which so far the available copies I've seen are. But I don't know, lately my order for manga has decreased a bit. Now, over the past few months, the manga part of my book hauls have been immense. Usually around 20 volumes, I think. I don't really count them, but I would say they're nearly 20 volumes, and they're usually the bulk of my hauls. So I probably pinched myself out, or I've overindulged and I'm overcompensating, or I'm compensating in other ways as in parts of my collection, which I have done in the past. I think in 2020 or 2021, if I remember, I did something similar with history, where I would, for several months in a row, really binge on buying history books. And then I would turn and for a month, science fiction and fantasy would be have a stronger presence in my halls, or other genres would. So this could be one part of that. But I've also been thinking that when I did restart my collection, when I started to actively read manga again and to actively collect manga, that I had some unfinished business. Um, in the back of my mind, I definitely wanted to collect all of um, Hiro Mishima's work, or would have liked to. Um, Also Naruto, and also Fullmetal Alchemist. And I also really wanted to finish Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. I read slightly more than half of the series about 10 years ago, when it was, I think, being actively released from my local library. And I dropped it. I think I got caught up or something, and I just never quite finished it. So I wanted to. And I had thought maybe I could uh, collect the rest of Clam's work as well, but in the year since I completed, well, I basically read the entirety of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle, my interest in either rereading it or really collecting Clam's work has dissipated. Um, and I've also managed to accomplish other reading goals that I wanted to do, like The Seven Deadly Sins, Magic the 11th Magic, although I'm still missing a few volumes and haven't completed those series. Also, Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia. So, a lot of the goals I had in mind, I've largely accomplished. So, that leaves me in a bit of a bind as to where to go forward. I've been picking up, excuse me, the first volumes of some series lately, and they haven't quite done it for me. That I'm not going to continue on with them. And two of those I talked about last week. Two more I will talk about this week. And then there were a few others. Kaiju number 8, Noragami Stray God, Tokyo Revengers, that I'm not really all that into. That I'm not really excited about collecting them, or even, particularly in the cases of Kaiju number 8, I was sort of, well, actually, all of them really. I kind of like, well, I didn't really like Tokyo Revengers at all, but yeah, I kind of liked the first volume, but my interest really faded the next volume or the volume after that. So, and even One Piece, which I rather liked the first 3 volumes I read, I'm really not feeling all that interested in continuing with the series. So I don't quite know what I want to do. Um, I need to really give this a rethink. And I had hoped, and one of my ideas for making this video was to sort of, once I laid it out, that I could really, okay, so what to do, rather than actually having a plan and then talking about that plan, because sometimes my plans change. But anyway, I'm very contradictory. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, although I'm thinking that my plan for a manga wall might not necessarily be happening. I don't know. We'll see, because I am thinking about the collection in the long run of, do I just want to keep all of the manga that I have, or do I want to read them out? And that would include series that I have fully collected and I probably won't ever reread, sort of like, say, Tsubasa. So I don't know. And I need to, and I do want to think about that, and I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. So yeah, I will report back when I do. But anyway, BookTube, that's almost all I have to say today. I want to make another video while this one's uploading because, or I guess before, yeah, I'll do it while this one's uploading because otherwise I'll forget which video's which, and you'll probably get one of the reasons why I don't usually, or these discussion videos usually don't work out because, yeah, I go through a lot of first takes in the first few minutes or first few seconds of trying this, and then I get my rhythm and go. But anyway, because I did promise to make an original tag video today, and I'm not entirely happy with the one that I settled on, and I kind of want to talk about that because I did get an idea for a series of tags that might be fun, but I kind of need a little help on it. So I'll make that video here in a sec. So until then, BookTube, thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.